just couldn't stop these people. Just as you were getting and finishing Donkey Kong Country 2, Rare were already on the way with another sequel, dumping more and more down our hungry gullets like we were some kind of gluttonous hippos. Not content with leaving the Donkey Kong Country games as a duo of legendary games, Rare decided they wanted a trilogy and released Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong's Double Trouble, just a year after the second game was released. Of course, Shigeru Miyamoto was pissed off, swearing to exclude Donkey Kong from some game he was going to make many years in the future. His anger at platforming gorillas knows no bounds. Of course, the last two times Miyamoto got in the ring with Rare, he was soundly defeated as Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong Country 2 were amazing games. Hell, 2 was my first 10 out of 10 on the channel. With that being said, can Miyamoto take it in round 3? Everyone knows the King K rule of 3, games rarely survive it. Can Miyamoto perform a TKO on everyone's favorite main man, Donkey? Or will Rare and the gang pull through, helping the King of Swing deliver the haymaker of victory against the big man himself? Those foolish crocodiles don't learn, do they? Yes, the Kremlings are at it again, just this time messing about Canada, known here as the Northern Hemisphere, and they have somehow managed to kidnap not only Donkey, but Diddy as well. This just leaves Dixie Kong and her shitty cousin Kiddy to save the day, with the help of the rest of the Kong family of course, who fulfill similar roles as before. Truth be told, she'll need all the help she can get, as not only are Donkey and Diddy missing, but the Kremlings, led by evil robot Chaos, have messed with the local Brother Bear economy and the Banana Bird Queen as well. Well, better get to work, you'll have to pull double shifts to make up for how useless Kiddy is. Now, this is a Donkey Kong Country game, so if you played either of the others on Super Nintendo, you know how this one plays. You run from left to right, or from down to up and all around on your journey to the flag at the end of the stage, avoiding obstacles, jumping on enemies, or tossing barrels around along your way. Along your path you'll find bananas, coins, DK coins, and bonus coins as you jump your way through the stages and complete bonus barrel challenges. Bananas for lives, and 2 coins for the side content that I'm going to go over after. This is all standard stuff for the series, but still all well and good here. The controls still feel great, and the two actually have differences now, meaning there is a point to who you play as. Just like in the first Donkey Kong Country, Kiddy is the heavier of the two, only, unlike the first game, his heft is used to break weak boards in the floor, or just to weigh some things down. It's not much, but it's better than it has been in the series. What isn't better than it has been in the series are the level gimmicks. Now the series is known for them, much like Canada is, but here they just feel annoying rather than fun. On top of that, they reuse them far too frequently, and I can barely remember any stages that were traditional platforming stages. Most have some kind of gimmick, and quite a few of them are split-second affairs where there's constantly a fire under your ass. I don't know, it just doesn't seem as well thought out or fun this time around. Unlike in the last game, there is an entire bartering side quest that you use the collectible coins for at the bear shops scattered around the world. Doing this will give you access to a big secret, so you may as well do it. There are also the banana birds hidden in secret walls in the overworld that want you to play Simon with them in order to save them, which is fun. Just don't forget to drag that stupid baby along and make him do some work for once. It's a nice change of pace for the simple, straightforward side progression of the prior games, and this sort of transfers to the main game as well. Instead of being locked to a linear world select screen, you now traverse a map screen and need to use vehicles to get around to the different worlds. This is a simple change, but it makes the game feel a little bit bigger in scope. Overall, progression is a lot more interesting and makes up for having Kiddy around. As mentioned, much like Canada, the Northern Hemisphere is all about those gimmicks. So much so that even our boss fights are gimmicks. You walk into your boss's office asking for a raise, and you never know if you're going to have to throw barrels in their mouth, bounce on their heads while dodging the electric paneling on the floor, or squirting in their eyes. Wow. Phrasing. Just like the level gimmicks, these just aren't as fun as prior games. Yes, I mean that. The bosses in the first game are more fun than the bosses here. I get what they were trying to go for. The basic gameplay isn't suited for complicated boss fights, so this seemed like the right way to go, only it wasn't. These bosses are so unfun that I dreaded actually coming up to one. Thankfully, the majority of them are easy, despite the rest of the game being much harder. Also, like Canada, the game is quite uneven when it comes to the visuals and audio. The game technically looks great, as is the usual when it comes to this franchise, but the art direction is quite bad in my opinion. There are some great looking areas like the boardwalk lake stages and the barn stages. Yeah, there are barn/sawmill levels, but then there are stages such as the drainage pipe and the cliffs that just look awful. The worst part is that the stage themes repeat frequently. It's like they went for a more realistic setting without thinking how it would handicap the visual variety, as there is very little. On the music side of things, it's a shame this isn't a Donkey Kong Country game, or else the music would have been great. Wait, what? This is a Donkey Kong Country game? You sure? Alright, well that just makes this a whole lot worse. If that bit didn't spell it out for you, the number of decent tracks could probably be counted on a couple of fingers, as the tracks are just way weaker than they were in the prior two games than what they should be. The music is still fine, it's just not Donkey Kong Country standard. From what I understand, David Wise didn't fully compose this one, and that makes sense listening to it. So this game is a weird one when talking about complaints, especially since I talked about them already. Technically, this is just as solid as the prior games for the most part, but it does fall apart in some areas. The frame rate slows to a crawl in some stages, especially when flying through them as fast as you can. As mentioned before, some of the stages look terrible, and some of the enemies stand out like a sore thumb, like they weren't designed to be on those stages, but were put there anyway. Aside from the bosses being generally unfun to fight, the typical enemies are nothing we haven't seen before aside from a few standout and bad ones. Namely this Kremling that flies about with helicopter blades. It just sucks and it doesn't fit in at all. To counter this, the side content is stronger than it has ever been. The addition of a new bonus room minigame where you collect gross green bananas, combined with the Brother Bears and Banana Bird scavenger hunts leading to not only the true ending of the game, but also a big secret, really increased the longevity of the game. That's not even taking the DK coins into the equation. It's a beefier game than the last ones, it's just not as satisfying to play through. For the final game in the Donkey Kong trilogy in the Super Nintendo, and as Rare's final send-off for the console itself, Donkey Kong Country 3 is a disappointing step back. The first two games still remain legendary, where the third sometimes feels like a chore to play thanks to the over-reliance on gimmicks. Combine that with the most unfun bosses and you have an uneven game. You'll go from frantic and fun platforming to a puzzle stage or a puzzle boss, and your flow has a dangerous chance of crashing and burning. Top that off with the music being vastly worse than what came before, and you will sometimes wonder if this was even made by Rare. Still, it's a fine game and something worth playing if you played the prior to death, but be aware that it is an inferior game. I may sound like I'm being quite harsh on the game, but the first two games are just so good that I sound harsher than I am, as the game is still really good. Despite my grievances, I am going to hand Dixie a solid 8 out of 10. Just make sure to keep that out of Kiddy's hands or he'll break the damn thing. Good old Shiggy may not have knocked the Kongs out, but he did stop them from boxing. If only Donkey Kong would return in some way. If only some company would make some certain game on some specific console in the future. If only.